from your own experience. What causes problems when you're driving? Someone zips along next to you and cuts you off. Is that desire? You didn't ask for that. What are you desiring? You feel, Amitabha, or practice, go back to the breath, or something like that. Right? A lot of things. Even that tiny movement that our wonderful designer for our flyer, she just went like this, adjusted herself. What's going on behind that movement? Self? Too abstract. Pain. And you want to correct it. Discomfort. I'm talking about your concrete daily life experience. The foundation of suffering is you want this moment to be other than what it is, whatever that moment is. You know, it may not be desire. I mean, someone cuts you off, you get kind of pissed, or something else happens, but you want this experience to be other than what it is. Embedded in that basic mechanism is what? I don't want this. When you don't want this, that means something else you want. Greed, hatred, love, anger. It works hand in hand. It's like two sides of the same coin. So at a very, very fundamental level of our being, what helps us navigate ourselves through daily life, walking down the street, talking with people, seeing this one person go, oh, it's my coworker again. Or my boss again, is you want this moment to be other than what it is. So what navigates you, what shapes your experience in daily life is actually grasping and rejecting. That's the very culprit that causes all of your vexations, anguish, misery. The reason we're caught up with that, why? We don't see the nature. I said the nature is you're originally free. You don't lack anything. You need to grasp this. Get rid of that. It's like the cup. You see dirty water, filthy, you want to get rid of it. Clear water, oh, you want to really cherish it. So some people, when they meditate, they get into a very good state. Oh, they don't want to get up. They kind of just soak there. They're actually not cultivating chan. What they're cultivating is the same mechanism that drives them suffering, to the path of suffering. They're actually cultivating grasping and rejecting. And those of you who meditate will know by experience, as soon as you try to hold on to a good experience, bye-bye. That's the beginning of the downhill. Why? Why is that? Because what rises in mind is grasping, greed, desire. And that is the cause of agitation. So it's natural. That's the beginning of going downhill. And you got into that state probably because you've forgotten about grasping, rejecting. You just kind of use the method, and just slip into it. Right? When grasping and rejecting are absent, then naturally blissful states arise. You see? So you have to kind of trick yourself. Okay, I don't care if I sit bad. You know, but when is it going to come? You know, you don't do that. If you calculate it, it's still the mind of grasping, calculation, the mind of rejecting. That will never get you anywhere in practice. And no matter what you find to substitute in your life. For example, prior to practicing Dharma, you were into i4, iPad, what is it, G4, whatever, all these material things. And now that you have learned meditation, you want to substitute materialism with spiritualism. Right? So you start to collect experiences, how many sutras that you read every day, how many periods of meditation you practice. That's just spiritual materialism. It's a practice of substitution. You're substituting A with B. You're cultivating the same thing. You haven't changed at all. Now you're just into more spiritual things. Right? It doesn't matter what you find, grasping, what you're able to grasp, hold on to, chase after, happiness, freedom will never be there. Right? So instead of trying to get rid of something you don't like, try to chase after things that you desire. In terms of our subjective experience, I'm not saying we shouldn't work, we shouldn't hold a job, we shouldn't study, do research, this and that. You should do that. But in terms of our own subjective experience, you have to be so transparent and clear of the workings of your mind, the absence and presence of this grasping, relinquishing, chasing, calculating mind. Inside your mind, you have to recognize the true nature. Like the water. The true nature of water is clear, wet. The nature of mind is free. Right? Try to hold on, try to be angry 24 hours a day. You can't. Right? Your mind is naturally free. Right? But when we try to hold on to things, it's not free. And we're faced with obstacles. Everywhere we meet, there will be obstacle. So, in terms of our lives, we have to see that in that process of interacting with other people, relating to other people, doing different tasks, are all opportunities to recognize our mind, to exercise our innate freedom. Someone bad to us. Right? It's an opportunity to practice. So you recognize not only ourselves, within ourselves, the natural mind is free. Within everyone else, it's also free. It's just that they happen to be caught up with vexations at this time, grasping and rejecting the filth in the water as opposed to the clear water. Clear is not necessarily better than the filth in terms of their true nature. So someone's bad at you. Usually we get angry at the person, correct? Yeah, we get angry at the person. Shouldn't be angry at the person. What is your name? Wendy. Wendy? Okay. If I take a stick, right, and hit you, Wendy, do you get angry at the stick or you get angry at me? At me, yeah. Thank you. Similarly, when someone is harming us, what's manipulating them, what's holding them are vexations. They're completely controlled by vexations. So them, their actions are not what the problem is. It's vexations that's holding them. They are the stick. Vexations got a hold of them and hit. So no need to get angry at them. Do you see what I mean? Do you see? So, just like someone holds a stick, hit you, you don't get angry at a stick, do you? No. You get angry at the person. When a person gets angry at you, harms you, say something nasty to you, don't get caught up with the person. In that moment, the boss who's in charge is no longer that person. It's vexations, 烦恼. So you feel compassion. You actually see that the person is naturally free, but now someone else is in charge. Right? Sometimes it requires hitting back. But when you hit back, you don't say, I'm going to hit back and I'm going to, you hit me? You hit me? And then I hit back. That would be acting out of your own vexations. Sometimes it requires, you hit back, and the mind is still at peace. Your mind is compassion. But what requires is, something bad happens, you call the police. You don't say, before the police come, let me kick your butt first, and then I call the police. You don't do that. Police, that's their job to do it. In a monastery, things can be quite peaceful. You're there practicing with like-minded practitioners. When I was in a monastery, and plus being an attendant monk to Master Shen Yan, I was basically in a monastery for about 10 years, assisting him. My task was to attend him, to serve him. And being so close to him, I met him when I was 12. He kind of saw me grow up, became his monk, and then assisting him. So he knew me very well. He used to create problems for me when there are no problems. The monastery is very peaceful. Everyone's kind of fellow practitioners. So he used to publicly, he found this very effective. Public humiliation. He found, that works for Guogu. Very good. Like Jason, is it? Jason is in charge of the camera. One time, he told me to buy a camera. We had to take photos for PR, public relation, take photo of the teacher for book covers, all kinds of stuff. He told me to buy the camera and take photos. So we went by the camera, we set the photos. The beginning of the lecture, public, a lot of people, filled. He says, look at that idiot in the back with the camera. He thinks he knows what he's doing. And everyone just laughed. It was a great icebreaker, And my teacher was very sarcastic. He has that humor kind of, 你看他这个小孩子什么都不会，好像很会照相的样子。So he says that. And he used to create that all the time. And I'm thinking, you're the one who want me to take photos. And then when I take it, and you say this, and as an icebreaker, it worked great. Everyone kind of ha 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 laughed. But my heart, it just broke too. It just kind of collapsed. I remember when I was a novice monk, I used to just go up to my room and hit my pillow. I was like, why is he always doing this in public? And my Dharma brother used to come in and say, oh, God, he's still hitting the pillow. You know how to do it. He's actually treating you like Milarepa, like Marpa treating Milarepa, this Tibetan saint. And I said, he's not Marpa, and I'm not Milarepa. He's just an old man who's publicly humiliating me. So he always did that. And I remember serving him. The day after he'd do something like this, I would typically, I had to bring him food, the table. The way I brought him food, I wouldn't speak to him for like 3 days. I would bring the food, the rice, and leave, and he would be like, and he would always does this trick. He would do something very sweet and very